Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest,
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
innovate,
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
and inspire.
I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I am in a different studio. I am actually in, I'm going to call him the king of New York when it comes to real estate. It's not Biggie Smalls. It's none other than Ryan Serhant. What's up, man?
Welcome to my office.
This is a cool office, man. They gave me the tour and everything.
Yeah?
The building's amazing, what you guys have built.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a lot. Cool. It's a lot more than a real estate brokerage. It's like a media company.
Definitely is. We are when I define the company to people, we're a real estate technology company powered by media, grown through education. So that's our thing. You know, we are known probably for our content to commerce for real estate, right? We create 10 to 20 pieces of real estate content a day that helps us sell the real estate we do. It grows the agent brands that we have. It helps us in our expansion. And we believe in the power of media, right? Growth that way.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. So yeah. It's our clubhouse.
No, it looks great. And you got agents on the floors just making calls, making content, like doing deals. I mean, like when I look at the future of the brokerage and real estate, I mean, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, where someone called us last week the unbrokerage. And at first I was like, that's weird. Does that mean we're not a brokerage? But I guess brokerage now has such a, I don't know, it's not positive and it's not negative. It's just sort of like,
Yeah.
Right? And so the non-traditional brokerage has become the unbrokerage, and that's kind of what we do, because our agents do a lot of different things. They don't just sell real estate, right? They're entrepreneurial salespeople. I don't call any agent here an agent or a realtor.
They're entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they all are.
Yeah.
Whether they're working on our education programs and they're coaching, agents in Singapore, or they're building their podcast or building their personal brands, like that creator economy is massive, right? The gig economy is huge. By 2027, 50% of the US workforce is going to consider themselves in some part of the gig economy. That's insane. That is crazy, which just means that sales, not necessarily real estate, but sales in general, is like the skill set for that new economy. And you're either at the forefront of that through media or you're not.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize this, but it took me a long time too. It was like, man, everything you do is sales. If you're on video, you're selling yourself. You could be selling a product. You could be selling, really anything. And once I realized that, and I realized that, man, every business I own is just like, man, can we generate revenue? Can we, selling is selling. It doesn't really matter what you're selling.
True.
Yeah.
No, we have a huge sales program, and we call it Sell It Like Serhant, based on the TV show and the book that I wrote. And we have 12,000 salespeople now in 110 countries who are active enrollees and members, and take the courses and are part of the webinars and everything. And it's growing a little bit every day. A good chunk of them are not real estate. And every time we talk to them and we say, hey, you are a Formula E race car driver in Seoul, Korea. Why are you here? Why are you watching our real estate sales videos? And the response is always the same. It's, sorry, where else should I go? I need to learn how to sell advertising for my cars so that I can have sponsorships. I need to learn how to sell my dentistry practice. I need to learn how to sell my stories to editors because I'm a freelance writer based in, where was someone from last week? Missoula. Missoula, so random. And they're like, well, we see you on TV, we see your videos, we follow you this way, that way. You sell real estate, but in your books, you teach people to sell anything to anyone, right? And these days on any device. We're learning your tips and tactics and strategies to be able to do better for our own lives. It's wild.
Yeah. No, I've read both of your books. Definitely agree. Like, so many things with selling and just having that energy when you are selling, it makes everything so much easier. Yep. So, as I was walking through the office, a lot of the agents and, your staff were telling me about different things you guys are doing. One thing that kind of stuck out to me, and I saw you post about this when you initially launched, was like kind of creating this Serhant universe, like this metaverse. And I don't really know what exactly it is, but for me, like I'm in New York right now for NFT NYC, right? Around all of these crypto people. And, I've got my own project launching in August. So I'm curious to see, what are you doing right now with, I don't even know what exactly it is. Like, what are you doing?
So we're doing a lot. When I decided that I was going to start my own company, I knew that I didn't want to be tethered to any specific location, right? Real estate is locally bought and sold at the end of the day. You have the local market heroes, right, who are the ones with all the information, all the knowledge, they've got the keys, they've got the access, but then your buyer base is now global, right? It's national for sure, okay? But it's also global. We can sell to anyone, anywhere, on any device. So how can I build a company that isn't like in the cement in any one specific location? And how do I create geographic equality? Like if I want to have agents in New York, in Florida, in Nashville, in Texas, in California, how do I do that without making everyone else feel like they're stepkids to New York City? Because that's where I am, right? Because I'm here, I named the company after myself, headquarters is here, this is where we started. Everywhere else, you're good, but you're not New York, right? Like how do you do that? And how do I do that? And the way we decided to do it years ago, before it was trendy, was by creating a virtual world, right? Which basically created a level, equal playing field for everybody, where you don't have to be in New York, you don't have to be anywhere. You can be whoever you want, whenever you want, however you want, dress however you want, and you are in the same Serhant universe, which is very video game-like, open world, different buildings that stand for the different departments and things that you'll need. You can go to the education building, auditoriums, we do everything in there. You can go to the main corporate building, you can meet with me, you can meet with customer service, you can talk to front desk, right? You can do all your onboarding, everything. Go to the studios building and check out your videos, or you can ride a fucking giraffe, right? Because why not? It's all made up anyway. And a big part of it for me too, which I find interesting, I don't know if anybody else does, like when you think real estate sales, you think movement. Like you either see the realtor running around with the signs, or they're in their car, they're getting out, they're writing contracts, they're all over the place. Do you know the percentage of disabled real estate agents?
I don't.
No one does, because the percentage is so small, because it's so hard to be a real estate agent and be disabled.
Right.
Now how many military vets there are who are amputees, who are looking for work, who can't get into real estate because they feel embarrassed that they would be in a wheelchair to be able to walk around with clients with legs. You move that into a virtual space. Now everybody is equal.
Right.
Whether you're disabled in any way, shape, or form, whether you are an amputee, whether you're a military vet, whether you've just been through a lot of shit, whether you're shy, whether there's mental health issues, anxiety, anything. Now all of a sudden, I don't have to bring you to New York. Now I can bring New York to you, or Nashville to you, or this two-family to you. And that big picture opens up the playing field for everybody in an occupation that has never been kind to anyone that doesn't have two eyes, two arms, two legs, and can speak a full sentence.
That's interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot too, about the future of real estate and, virtual reality, augmented reality, and everything else. And one thing I've always kind of come to the conclusion on was that the buyer's agents will probably change pretty dramatically, just with, just call it augmented reality. Like, it's my opinion that at some point, these technologies will get so good that everyone will walk through the houses they want to buy without an agent, right? They'll just be able to throw on their glasses, go see 10 houses in an hour, and be like, I want to buy that one. And then go to your virtual agent to say, hey, basically draw up the contract, negotiate for me, do all that. Do you see something like that happening? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, potentially. Really, really far off in the future. It's going to take a long time for people to do that and be very comfortable buying their home, 100% for investment.
Right.
Right. You read that 1/3 of all single-family homes sold in Texas last year were sold to banks, right? Like BlackRock.
Yep.
Really crazy, slightly bubblish, kind of like, what the fuck? But those guys don't need to fly down there and walk all the streets of Sherman, Texas, on the border of Oklahoma. No, right? They're going to do that in a situation like that. For mom and dad, for the new graduate, for the young professional who's trying to buy their first home, let's say, or sell a home, the home is only a small part of it. At the end of the day, it's location, location, location. So you can walk through the house and it's great, right? There's Matterports for that, there's 3D tours, but what is the block like? Like, what are my neighbors like? When's trash pickup when I actually live here? What are the schools like? Like, is this a busy street? How close is the freeway? Is it really, really loud? What's crime like? There's a lot that then goes into it that for someone to actually live there. But I think all technology definitely makes things faster. You know, we've seen that even during COVID. Like, deals that were typically, I'd say, oh, they couldn't make it here. We got to wait till next month when they're in town. Now I say, okay, I'll see you there tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll just do it virtually.
Yep.
And for, let's say, 50% of the people, they say, okay.
Yeah.
You know? And then I'll come later to confirm it. We just sold a house in Palm Beach for $50 million over video.
And see, that's kind of my point is, like, I don't think it completely eliminates it buying sight unseen, even though a ton of people do that.
Yep.
But, you know, it eliminates so much time wasted showing all these properties. And then it's like, yep, that's the one I want. Let's make an offer. All right, I'll go see it during due diligence and then confirm it.
100%. I think that for, you know, and you've seen this, like Compass, right? When Compass came out, their game plan, how they raised their first initial rounds of financing, we are replacing the real estate agent. All about the consumer. Right? We don't have agents, we have neighborhood experts. They were buying up real estate agents and paying them salaries and saying, we don't believe in commissions anymore.
Yeah, Redfin did that too.
Yep. And it didn't work, right? No one's incentivized. No 9-to-5er who gets a salary wants to pick up the phone at 6 p.m. with a crying wife, right? So they weren't incentivized. And then all of a sudden they said, shit, what are we going to do? We have to get our investors' money back. We are a technology company. Hooray, right?
Yep.
And agents are our customers now. Everything changed, like overnight. And we're going to give them the tech. Did it make things a little bit faster? Sure. Did they pay a lot of agents a lot of money to come there? 100%. And as those deals all expire, are a lot of those agents leaving? Absolutely, because then the deal changes. If you make it about the money, well, it always has to be about the money.
Right.
Right? But true technology that'll change the way buyers and sellers operate in the world, I think will really, really change the way agents operate with their clients. Kind of like what you just said. If I don't have to run around with a client for 10 hours and showing them houses, if I could just be there for the 3 houses that they like because they just did the virtual metaverse tours of those 10 or 20, whatever you want to do, they walked all through, and then I got the notes and I got to see the data in real time, how long he spent in that house, how long they spent in that tour. Why were they on the second floor of that one for so long? Because then it's a data game. Then I could know, I know exactly what they want. And then if we have algorithms that are built to say, okay, they spent 52 seconds on the second floor of this fake house, but a version of something that's in the real world, then it could easily give you options for, if you like this, here's 6 other houses that work well for you, versus you just having to wait and find. And then I just become a broker of data and information until you're ready to pull that trigger. I could do 200 times the deals that I do now.
Especially if you have proprietary data.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which is all based on just user analytics and how they go through it. Like Tesla isn't a car company, it's a data company. It's just all the data all day long as you use that damn car. Incredibly valuable.
It's funny just learning about how Tesla's going about their full self-driving. It's like nobody can ever catch them. They have so much data, and so it's like everyone jumping into the game today, they can't replicate what Tesla's done the last 10 years of getting all of that driving data. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But speaking of data, so let's talk about numbers. Last year you guys did over $1 billion in sales.
Yep.
And, you guys are just crushing it in, many different ways. But something everybody is concerned about right now is the market.
Yep.
So for me, I always try to look at data and say, this is what's actually happening versus what the media or people say. Like, what do you see the data telling you with the market?
I think that contracts are down significantly year over year from 2021. But contracts are up 36% year over year now to 2019, which means that, is there a cooling off from the insanity of 1 year? Yes. And there was going to be. Like, it had to be.
Yeah.
Right? 2021 was a year unlike any of us have ever seen because we got a vaccine, right? We got a vaccine less than a year ago at this point, right? It's amazing how time flies, you know? People had pent-up demand, and people were sitting on cash that they hadn't spent on real estate specifically since like 2009, because the prior recession was caused by a housing crisis, right? The subprime mortgage collapse. I think that there's just a sell-off period. I think that more people have paid cap gains tax on asset appreciation in the first tax cycle of 2022 than in the history of capital gains tax. I think more people have cash in their savings accounts now than in the history of American savings accounts.
Yeah.
Right? I think that holistically, things are strong, but I think people are taking profits off the table. People are paying their taxes. And I think consumer confidence gets rocked anytime that guy starts selling or that guy starts selling. And oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? And then everything rides the cycle back up again. What goes up must come down. What goes down oftentimes goes back up, albeit sometimes in a different way. I think when people talk to me about recessions, I don't know if the recession will affect housing. I think that the 2008 housing collapse was caused by over-speculation, like we were talking about before, where somebody would walk into an apartment building and say, I'll take this for myself and 2 for my friends.
Right.
That can't happen now because no one can afford it. No one would be able to get loans. Right. You have regulation that came in after 2008 that stopped then predatory lending, which was the other thing that caused the Great Recession. Right. And you don't have predatory lending anymore. You know how hard it is to still get a loan? Like, that's why all these cash deals are bidding everybody up, which is good because we need to get this cash out of the system. People are spending all this cash because they have it and it's sitting there ready to go. They should spend it, right? That's inflation.
We keep the economy going.
Yeah, right? And now with interest rates going up, I mean, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, but it has definitely changed the game, right? And it's changed the monthly payment for everybody.
If you're listening to this podcast, then my guess is you're interested in real estate investing. Some of you are just starting out, while others are trying to scale their business to the next level. But the problem is, with so much information out there, most people don't know which program or coach to trust. Well, I'm a bit biased, but I believe my company, Future Flipper, can help you get to the next level. We've coached thousands of students from all over the world on how to build their real estate investing business. It doesn't matter whether you want to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Our coaching program has everything you need to become a great investor. There are many things that we include with coaching, but to give you a few examples, you're going to get an accountability coach. These are people that have had success in their own business, and they want to make sure that you achieve success in yours. We also have all of our documents, our systems, and processes that I've used to buy hundreds of homes. You can copy and paste them directly into your own business. And we have events where you get to meet me, top-level guest speakers, and other students who are crushing it. My students do deals with each other, and I personally do deals with them too. In fact, at a recent event, I just honored over 20 people in our program that made over $1 million in the last year. So if you want to grow your real estate business, head over to futureflipper.com and apply for a call with our team. The call is completely free, and they can help point you in the right direction whether you work with us or not. So go to futureflipper.com and book your call today. For the last year, the real estate market has been on absolute fire. Prices are at all-time highs, interest rates are at all-time lows, and there is more money in the economy than ever. But with so much competition, many investors are sitting on cash, struggling to find great deals. If this sounds like you, then you need to invest with Pineda Capital. With my network and social media following, we get access to the best real estate deals all over the country. And if you're an accredited investor, you can invest with me on those deals. In fact, last year we purchased a 334-unit apartment complex in Georgia for almost $20 million. We expect it to be worth well over $30 million when it's all said and done. Our goal with each deal is to build in so much equity from the beginning that we're able to refinance our investors' cash out and own the properties together with little to no money into the deal. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. Our team will find the deals, handle the renovations, get them leased, and eventually refinanced or sold. All you have to do is provide the capital. So if you want exclusive access to our deals before they hit the public, go to pinedacapital.com to schedule a call. We can put your money to work today to start getting you great returns. So go to pinedacapital.com now to get access to our deals.
Yeah. So it's funny because, you were telling me earlier before we got on the show that, real estate's always going to be driven locally, right? And so, you hear about something happening in this city, but, it's not happening in this city.
Yeah.
You hear about, you're doing a lot of luxury stuff, and it's like, okay, the luxury buyer is going to be different than the entry-level buyer, the middle-class buyer. So I guess from your expertise, like, what are you seeing with the clients you're actually servicing right now?
Inflation is still incredibly real. And if you keep your cash in the bank, you are growing trash, right? Cash is trash. And so what else do you do with your money?
Right.
At the end of the day, could a housing market blow up and go down? Yes. Will it hurt you? Only if you sell.
Right.
Like, you could hold a Bored Ape, you could hold a CryptoPunk, you could hold a Naughty Nancy or whatever the fuck all these things are, right? You could hold any NFTs that have no utility. You could buy crypto, buy into the stock market, and sure, and you could immediately see like cash values go down. But if you hold long enough, hopefully they'll go back up.
Right.
But a house, as you've seen, every housing bubble that bursts is followed by another housing bubble. It's impossible to time, but it always happens. It's since the beginning of caves. Like, people just need houses. And until pollution destroys this planet, I think that'll probably be our final housing bubble, like where going outside kills us. We're just not there yet. It's not going to be in my lifetime. There's just way too much land still. Like, have you been to Colorado? Dude, there's way more room for houses out there.
Right. Yeah, I was telling people that with my whole talk on the metaverse, people are like, man, well, with the metaverse, it's pretty, like they can just create infinite amounts of metaverse. And I'm like, that's true. But did you know how much land is actually being used in the world? It's like 10% or something.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, there's land everywhere.
Location.
Yeah.
Right? Access. I mean, a big part for me too is I'm not building this company. I'm not building Serhant as the greatest real estate firm in the history of the known universe for agents today. It is great for people today. Mm-hmm. But my future rock star is currently 16 years old. And they are right now on a screen.
Yeah.
Right? They're at school virtually, or they're doing their homework virtually, or they're meeting their friends in Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, or a series of other games, because that's where their community is. Right? Their community is now in a screen. So if I'm not building that same sense of community in the workforce for them, they're not going to come work for me when they're ready to come work in 2 years or 6 years, depending on how they want to play out their life.
Right.
Like, those kids aren't going to grow up and be like, you know what I want to do? Go to work just like my dad did and work in a cubicle. I want 3 walls and no ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to want to go about it anymore because life is so much bigger than that. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's going to do the fucking cubicle work anymore. Like, I don't know who's going to actually do all this damn work that needs to be done. Everyone's an entrepreneur these days. Everyone's starting something. So someone's going to have to do it all. But like, that's who we are creating for.
Well, I think too, like right now we got our guys filming. I think
Hey guys.
Hey guys. So I think they're both entrepreneurial minded, and many of my employees are entrepreneurial minded. But I think it also goes back to having the autonomy to not be like, yep, you're in the 9-to-5 cubicle, and that's all you do. Whereas like, just walking through what you guys got going on here, Puma was telling me, he's like, yeah, like there'll be a new wave of agents in here 2 hours from now, right?
Yeah.
They come in, they come out, they do their thing. Some people work from home, but in the end, we still have this culture and this community here, even though they may not be here 9 to 5 every weekday. And, you still get to feel like you're a part of everything. And so that's kind of what I've tried to create in Vegas, where it's like, yeah, we all got a job, and, at the end of the day, as long as you do what you need to do for the company, it doesn't matter to me what it looks like.
Sure.
And I think that, like you said, COVID and everything else has kind of pushed all of that forward. And now it's like, man, that's the norm. How do we like adapt to that?
Yeah. I think it depends on the business, right? It is hard to train new employees if you're doing it totally virtually. It's hard to have culture if you're just at home and everybody else is there. Like our education business, I think the staff now is like 22 or something like that, full time, right?
Yep.
1/3 of that staff is in New York. 2/3 are scattered around the country. So when we have our weekly meetings, first thing we do is get the Zoom screen up because that's where the majority of the team is, right? They're scattered. I mean, they're like Maine, Alabama, Florida, Colorado, lots in Texas, California. They're all over the place. And there's like the couple of us that are in New York. Like New York is now the minority, right? Because you have great workers everywhere.
Right.
And now it enables us to hire people anywhere. Like I'm not just looking for the smartest, best people for the job in New York because you might not be the best. I could probably find a better person somewhere else who has a different quality of life.
That's the thing I've realized too, and this is also the power of social media, where it's like every time we want to hire somebody, I make a post on social media. We get applicants everywhere.
Yeah.
And it used to be where I was like, man, dude, I need everyone in Vegas. And sure enough, like our education company, I think we have about 15 employees.
Yeah.
And same thing, there's like maybe 4 in Vegas. The other 10 are, scattered because they were the best for that position, and we don't really need them in Vegas.
Yeah, and Vegas is hot, man.
New York is cold, dude.
Dude, Vegas is so hot.
I was actually surprised. I was walking out here with a jacket.
It's a little cool today.
Well, I thought it was going to be way colder. Just in my mind, I'm like, New York's always cold.
Really?
But
in the summer, New York can get real hot and humid and gross. Like, just wait. Like, if you were here next week, I'm sure, it's going to be like 91 degrees. You go outside, you sweat through your calves. Like your socks all of a sudden are sweaty and you're like, why do I live? Like, why am I moving in water?
Is that why you wear the suits with like the shorts and stuff?
Sometimes, like I'm Texan, I was born in Houston and I just get too damn hot, and I'm in and out of ACs and the city can get real warm, especially in these construction sites and some of these houses don't have great AC. I found out like a long time ago, I'd rather be comfortable than look professional if I'm going to be a professional gross slob.
So tell me about this, right? You start out as an agent and that's the whole deal and you pretty much master that and you're building a name for yourself and doing everything. And now you transition into more of a CEO. You're running all these different endeavors and real estate and all that happens to be one. So like how much time and energy do you put on being Ryan, the CEO, versus Ryan, maybe even the social media star and TV star, and then Ryan, hey, I'm the real estate agent, still showing houses and listing?
Probably a third.
Yeah.
Yep. I structure my day not like that. I structure my day very finder, keeper, doer. So part of my day I'm finding new business for everything, very CEO hat. Part of my day I'm keeping the business that I do have. Don't forget about it, which a lot of people might. So making sure everything's still moving forward. And then part of my day, I'm doing the stuff, like doing the lives, doing the showings, doing the property tours that I was just at in Tribeca, racing up to get here, where I did the interview with the agents in a new market we're going to then do this. And then, after that, then I'm back into finder mode, prospecting, but I'm booked on the 15-minute mark, and I squeeze as much out of my day as I possibly can, especially when the family's in Greece. My wife's Greek, and we have a baby, and they're in Greece June, July, August, and so I go first week of July, first week of August, and it gives me a lot of extra time to get work done without feeling the guilt of going home.
Yeah. So what does prospecting look like for you today? Are you still cold calling people? Like, what do you do?
No, I have agents that cold call.
Okay.
There's a lot of agents here that cold call and cold prospect and everything. I'll still cold email. Like if there's, people that just, cashed out or their company just IPO'd or there's a, Crunchbase article that this company is moving here, there's been an acquisition, everyone's information is totally public and I will personally get it and I will send those people's email, saying, hey, my name is Ryan Serhant, maybe you know me, maybe not. Congrats on the acquisition. looks like you're going to be moving to New York. If you need any help here, want to find a place, please let us know. And a lot of times people write back because no one else ever reaches out.
That's crazy.
They're like, go. Thanks, you know?
Right.
New listings and stuff we'll prospect for, or I'm prospecting different types of business, like different media things that we're going through or different markets for us to go into, which is a lot of it right now.
That's crazy. With so much here being Wall Street and everything else, like how does that affect the business right now with the stock market doing what it's doing?
The real estate market in New York is pretty intrinsically tied to the financial markets here because it is the financial capital of the world, even though it's so digital now and people are trading things everywhere.
Yeah.
New York is very bank heavy still. Like there's Citibank is down the block, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs is right over there. You know, JP Morgan Chase just tore down a skyscraper to build a new skyscraper on the same spot. Like it's, you know, it's
You tear down a skyscraper to build a new one.
Yeah, instead of going and buying another one, they wanted to build a crazy new one. So they were like, let's just tear this one down and build a new one right on top of it. Never been done before. It's totally insane. But if you're JP Morgan Chase, like, you know.
You've been around for 100 plus years.
Yeah, what's some billions? Pretty cool though. And so if the market's down here, it's like the magical water cooler talk that everybody hears is market's crashing. Can't buy an apartment today. Anytime the market ticks down, we will lose deals here.
Wow.
We will.
Like people just fall out because it's just a bad day in the market.
Yep, 100%. Because
Wow.
everyone in New York is scared of their own shadow. Everyone is terrified. And everyone is the greediest person ever at the same exact time. You'll find somebody here who is so scared to do anything. And then when the tables turn, they won't negotiate the price of a bagel. Right? Like they're just... It's the weirdest type of people.
How do you deal with that? Like, I'm sure, like, do you work with those people personally? Like,
all day, every day.
That's just it.
That's why I have incredible patience. You know, it's all about just having that patience.
Yeah.
And you give people positive sandwiches and you guide them through fear.
You're just a coach, just trying to figure out what buttons to push to get things to happen.
Every client has a fear.
Yeah.
Right? The key to selling is if you find out what the buyer's afraid of the most, and what the seller's afraid of the most, you keep those as the through line and you keep bringing the conversation back to that fear because people run away from their fears. They don't want to think about them, right? They pretend they're not there, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not thinking of the fact that I have to move or that my wife is pregnant and going to burst and I need a third bedroom or that interest rates are going up. I don't like that house. I don't want to deal with it.
Right.
Always bring it back to what that fear is, and you can most of the time get any deal done because then people remember, oh shit, that's right, I had to do that thing. People have very, very, very terrible short-term memories.
Yeah.
Very terrible.
As the world starts to go more digital, you need to be aware of which businesses are going to thrive in the future. One of the obvious ones is e-commerce. In fact, last year, e-commerce sales did over $4 trillion globally, and it's continuing to grow. Now, if you're like most people, you probably don't have time to learn a whole new industry and start a new business. But there is another way. You could partner with us at Lunar Ecom. We have over 300 e-commerce stores that we have created and managed for our clients. And the best part is, it's completely passive on their end. The business model is very simple. You cover the cost of creating and running the store. We handle everything else. We pick the products, we handle fulfillment, returns, and customer satisfaction. After all that, we split profits at the end of the month. This means that when you win, we win. If you want to learn more about how it works, you can watch our case study at lunarecom.com. I believe that the e-commerce space is going to continue to explode as the world goes digital. So make sure you're with the right partner who's going to be ahead of those trends. So go schedule a call with my team today at lunarecom.com if you want to learn about how we can start taking your passive income to the moon. Most people want to get rich at all costs. They make sacrifices with their family, their health, and their faith, all in the pursuit of money without even realizing it. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? What if you could grow your wealth in all areas of life? Well, it's possible, and that's why I created The Wealthy Way. It's a community of people striving to grow together in all areas. And we have multiple tools for you to use that are completely free. you can get access to the Wealthy Way Planner, where you can set goals and hold yourself accountable on a daily basis. We also have our Wealth Builder Academy, which is over 4 hours of content teaching you how to manage your time, create the right goals, and all the biggest secrets I've used to grow my life, not only in my net worth, but in all aspects. Lastly, we have our Discord community where thousands of wealth builders are all over the world encouraging one another and growing together. And once again, all of this is completely free. There are no upsells, there are no hidden catches. For me, this is a passion project and I want to build a community of like-minded people. So if you want to start living the wealthy way today, go to wealthyway.com. There you can get all the free resources like the course, planner, and Discord community. So go to wealthyway.com.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I never understood that with the media and everything else, like why it's always fear-based, but it's like, that's what gets people to respond. Like,
and it's what gets clicks.
Yeah.
So the media is the problem. I don't think it's the markets.
Yeah.
Markets react the way markets react. But the media, like turn on CNBC any morning. Like the last couple weeks, CNBC in the morning is, don't change the channel, you're about to die. Stock market tanking, crypto's out, you're going broke. Make sure you watch these ads, don't turn it, Andrew Sorkin's coming right back. It's all red, it's blood, and people are like, I remember during, COVID hit, we immediately go into quarantine. Every morning I would like work out in like a room because you couldn't go to the gym.
Yep.
I'd put CNBC on. It's like, dude, what's the death ticker today? Like, where are stocks today? Holy shit, 10,000 points. It's like watching a car crash. When things are good, ratings literally go down.
Yeah.
People
are like, oh, it's good. No need to
I don't need to, if markets are up, I don't need CNBC to tell me that. That's bad for CNBC.
Right.
So what's good for the media? What's good for media is when bad things happen to us.
Right.
So it is in their best interest to keep bad things happening as long as they possibly can.
Right.
And it's totally fucked.
Yeah, it is.
And it affects people's confidence. It affects the way they feel. It affects them emotionally. It affects their productivity, right?
Yeah.
Both at home, as a husband, as a wife, as a son, as a student, and at work.
Yeah. So let's talk about a different type of media, right? The traditional media does have those issues, right?
Yep.
But you were one of the first people to really advocate for social media, and you came from reality TV where, it's very different than how we do social media today. What do you see, like, throughout your career to where it's at? Like, what's the game now? Because I've just seen evolutions, not only from you, but from other content creators. It's like, where do we go from here? What are people going to want to watch?
So TikTok is the new TV. People have stopped even watching streaming. Like the Netflix subscriber drop-off isn't just due to a war in Russia and inflation and just people really jumping up in subscribers during COVID. A big part of it is younger people will put on Netflix or put on Amazon or put on Hulu, right, or put on TV, and then they sit on their phone and they're on TikTok. And if what's on their phone as they're swiping through TikTok is more interesting, this goes off. Because now this is way too long form, right? So short form scrolling that is in part funny and then scary and then inspirational and oh my God, I forgot that. And then trendy is...
And you never know what you're going to get.
Dopamine hits over and over and over and over. Whereas if you put on an episode of Ozark, you put on an episode of South Park, you put on an episode of whatever, you know exactly what you're going to get for 20 to 40 minutes. That's a much longer hit. It's all drugs, right? It's just, it's all addiction. And so for us, right, it's a game between the right type of content to commerce and giving people what they want. Like our property tours that when we first started them on YouTube and, awkwardly running around and being these YouTube, property influencers and doing Instagram long form stuff, we were very produced.
Right.
Lighting, everything, make it as gorgeous as possible. Now, half the time we're doing it on our phone and making it as raw as possible. As much as we possibly can, unless we're throwing up drones or doing some other stuff because it's just a very, very luxurious house. Because that's what people respond to.
Yeah. People don't want the overproduced stuff anymore.
Because they feel like it's all an ad.
Right.
If something is overproduced, you're pushing a message onto them.
Right.
If it's underproduced, kind of crappy looking,
so you're
pulling message into
You'll
them.
underproduce like a luxury tour now.
We've started to, yeah. And
Wow.
they perform a lot better and people reach out more. It just is what it is.
Because it just feels more real.
Yeah, because if you're swiping through and you see something with beautiful lighting that's gorgeous, you're like, ad. Trying to sell me something, right?
Yeah.
So people hate being sold. but they love shopping with friends. And friends wouldn't make a video with perfect lighting.
Right.
Right? So the way we'll sell, and a lot of our agents here, not just me, right? A lot of our agents, like, they don't know life without Reels and TikTok and Snapchat, right? And they're walking through apartments, it could be $10 million. And they're walking through, like, hey, $10 million apartment, here it is, here's the view, here's the kitchen, really, really, really cool thing. It's got this duplex, let me take you upstairs, People reach out from that. Yeah. But if I had beautiful photos and gorgeous video and put it out there like one huge ad, you're rolling the dice.
Man, that makes so much sense. So with your channel and specifically, like, you're starting to make this transition to doing more raw. One thing that
Supercar Blondie yelled at me, so.
Well, one thing I saw you do before, though, was these vlogs. Like, I think, like...
Yeah, we still do them every other week.
Yeah. Tell me about, like, that seems like it was already ahead of its time, being more raw and, like, kind of a spin-off from reality TV to show behind the scenes.
Well, when we started it 4 years ago, right, obviously I'm not the first vlogger, right? I'm not Casey Neistat, I'm not David Dobrik, I'm not, any of these other vloggers that really define what it meant to vlog, right? Mm-hmm. But for me it was, okay, what can I show to an audience that's not watching $1 Million Listing New York on Bravo? And it was kind of like, all right, mom and dad is watching $1 Million Listing New York after an episode of Housewives. The kids, who are my future buyers, clients, sellers, and agents, are not. How can I get to them? Like, I want to build my future 5 years ahead of time, every 5 years. Mm-hmm. So they are, and they were in YouTube, right? They're on social, they're on their phone. As long as they have Wi-Fi, they're not like watching FX. They're not like making sure there's cable. And so we started the vlogs. It's like, okay, then what's my daily life like that people can connect to? And then since starting the company in the end of 2020, the vlogs have been all about kind of the founders and CEOs' journey. Like the vlog, I think today was about my week last week, which is like the week from hell. Probably one of the hardest, most exhausting weeks I've had since starting the company, between all the businesses, everything happening at the same time in 3 different states, running around, losing my mind. And it's a real unfiltered look at what that was like as I'm trying to keep the ship on course. And then boom, here it is for everyone to see.
Right.
And comment on and let me know your thoughts and maybe anyone has any advice. Great. So people like being a part of the journey, not just being told what the journey is.
Yeah, that's one thing we're switching to is I've never really done vlogs, but now like primarily all of our content is going to be vlogs and podcasts. And like I've just kind of noticed what you noticed, where it's like people really just want to see like raw stuff.
Yeah.
Like the realness of like what it is running a business, and
because people want friends. That's it. We operate in a massively lonely world. Salespeople, consumers, every single person, whether they will admit it or not, just wants more friends. Okay? It used to be that your content was very packaged to you. It was primetime television, or it was in movies, or it was on a stage somewhere. And that's it. That was literally that was it. And social completely changed the game, and now made people that are not next to you, that you don't actually know, your friends, right? The amount of people who feel like they know me because they followed me or interacted with me through social for the last 10 years, right? They are a part of my life, whether I like it or they like it or not. So making things more raw, making them more authentic, one, creates trust with that consumer, right? With that community, and creates trust with that digital friend, right? It's all about kind of curing loneliness that way.
Right. So I know our time's really short because you've got meetings every 15 minutes on your schedule. So the last thing I wanted to ask you about is investing. So, one of the things with real estate agents is some of them get a bad rep because they don't even actually buy their product, right? Yep. So like, what are your thoughts on like what you're trying to do with your agents on helping them invest and your own investments and different things?
Yeah, a lot of our agents invest in deals, invest in real estate, buy new condos in buildings that we're selling because they have early first access, and they understand through like our future indexes kind of what the city is doing in that part of town and where we think prices per foot are going to be in the next 180 months. And so we have lots of those kind of conversations. Listen, real estate brokerage is a great way to make an income, right? Real estate ownership is a great way to build wealth and generational wealth. So it always starts with typically buying your own place, not just buying an investment property, but buy your own place and rip it up, renovate it, go through it personally, see what it's like hit a pipe, like go over budget, like make all the mistakes personally. Your real estate business as a broker will go up exponentially because every conversation you have with buyers is going to come from I, instead of, well, my client did this, or this happened, or let me think about how this works. It's all going to be personal to you. The same way, like if you go to a doctor and talk about a procedure and the doctor's like, I had the same thing done. This is how it was for me. You immediately, whether he's a good doctor or not, you immediately are like, well, you lived. Okay, I can do this with you.
Right.
And it just builds that trust. So, we don't teach real estate investing here. We don't really have a commercial arm yet. We will eventually. But it is an integral part to the real estate agent's lifespan, is owning property and not just selling it.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. It's something we try to stress to, all the agents we've had. It's like, look, whatever you do to make your active income, that's great. Like, be the best real estate agent you can be. But, we don't want you selling real estate until you're 70 because you have to.
Yes.
Let's build up some assets while you're young and, just, if you're telling people, like you said, if you're telling people to buy this, do it from your own firsthand experience. Like, yeah, I did this. I know exactly what you're going through, and it's going to make things easier.
Yep.
So, well, dude, I appreciate you having us come to New York, man. And,
thanks for coming. Thanks for checking out the office.
Yeah, it's beautiful. What you're creating is amazing. And, I'm excited to just see all of these other future things that you're doing because you're always thinking ahead, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, cool, man. Appreciate you.
I can shake it.
All right, we'll shake. We'll do a knuck shake. So anyways, guys, if you like this episode, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go follow Ryan on all the socials. If you're a real estate agent in New York or you're looking to buy a house in New York, he's the guy. He's
Let's go.
there. So, all right, guys, we'll see you later. Peace.
Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.